Why do we keep hearing about Venezuelans? Every time we look at the news and they're talking about illegal migrants, it's a Venezuelan gang. Venezuelan gang did this. Venezuelan gang took this building over. Venezuelan gang robbed this person. Why is it? If you look back at some of the stories I've done, you will realize that Venezuela let a lot of their mentally ill out of prison, out of the psych ward, and sent them right into this country. Yes, they did that. And then in return, what did they do 3 years ago? They came into this country illegally. They came across the border illegally, and now they are spread out everywhere. Now, this story here is kind of interesting because it is about a Venezuelan gang that storms a jewelry store, and they get away with $250K worth of jewelry. $250K. And so it's not to say that all illegal migrants are violent and they're going to steal $250K with the jewelry at gunpoint. No, that's not to say that. But I am bringing awareness to what's actually going on in this country right now as we speak. It's going to continue happening. Just like when the border was wide open and all of these illegal migrants were allowed to stroll right across the border without paperwork. So let's see exactly what happens when this Venezuelan gang decide that they want an easy lick and they steal $250K from a jewelry store.
Our partners at News Nation, they're reporting it's part of a Venezuelan gang. They do report Homeland Security officials turned over the suspect, 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗏 Roman, to the Denver County Sheriff's Office. The brutal robbery caught on video shows several young men pulling guns, even pistol whipping 2 women.
Oh, wow.
So a few days after, El Paso SWAT officers took several people into custody, happened at a motel, and reportedly Torres was there. It's not clear what the status of the other people taken into custody are either.
Lock them up.
The robbery at the jewelry store was carried out in a highly organized and rapid manner by 8 suspects.
It was 8 of them. I thought it was only like 3 from the video we seen earlier. I thought it was only 3. So you mean to tell me, well, they're all a gang, so of course there's more than 3 of them. And if they're so organized, how come they don't organize themselves to the unemployment office and try to get a job? How come you don't try to organize your ass into building up communities, doing something for your community, instead of trying to pistol whip and rob people? We can't even say trying to, because they did. They pistol whipped 2 women, 2 ladies, probably these 2 ladies right here, putting their lives in jeopardy, putting this young lady's life in jeopardy, putting these customers' lives in jeopardy. Why? Because they don't care. They do not have no type of care about life at all. They don't care about your life, my life at all. So I say lock all their asses up. Once you get them, round them up and lock them up. And then once they serve their time, deport them, get them the hell out of here. Well, if you do lock them up here, though, we're going to have to pay. The taxpayer is going to have to pay for them to be locked up. No. Send their asses back home where they came from.
The incident began when one man entered the store alone, appearing to browse casually as if he were a...
Now, what happens when you start to stereotype certain people? Because you saw the 3 of them standing there. What would have happened if these clerks, these store employees, were to look at them and say, I don't think we should let them in? That's the reason why they have the buzzers, to prevent things like this from happening. What happens when you start stereotyping people? This is exactly why stereotypes are definitely earned, because if you don't stereotype certain people, sometimes your life could be in jeopardy. I'm just sorry. That's just the facts. That's how it goes. If you do not stereotype people, sometimes your life can be in jeopardy. Someone could have lost their lives for some jewelry, for $250K worth of jewelry. Trust me, I've seen it happen. I've heard of it happening before.
Customers were forced to the floor while staff members attempted to retreat to the back of the store. The initial suspects used both and physical force to maintain control over the environment, leaving no opportunity for resistance.
And this has happened before. You see the store clerks, the jewelry store clerks, they get deleted. Because men like this, they don't care about life. They have no concern for your safety or for lives. Or even for the 18-month-old that was in there, they don't care. They're there for one thing and one thing only, to wreak havoc on society. That's all they care about. Now, I don't understand how they didn't think they were going to get caught. If they're illegal, then they probably have no worry in the world because there's nothing tying them to this country. They have no paperwork, no social security card, no driver's license, no ID, no birth certificate, nothing tying them to this country. The only thing we have is what? CCTV footage of their faces. No name, no fingerprints, nothing. That's what they were betting on.
Head, and she one of the times tried to move to push the panic button, and they told her that if she moved at all once more that they were going to kill her and they were going to kill my cousin.
As the robbery progressed, employees and family members faced direct assaults from the robbers. One employee holding a 2-month-old child was struck multiple times with the firearm while attempting to press the panic button. Another family member was similarly assaulted while trying to protect other employees from the attackers. The suspects consistently communicated threats, warning that any movement could result in serious injury or death.
Within another minute, cameras in the back capturing 4 more men entering the back door.
They had white gloves.
They were definitely organized. They knew exactly what they were doing. They set all of this up. I guarantee you, someone was in there probably a few days or a week before the robbery to stake the place out. I guarantee you. One of them was in there acting like they were shopping. If the police go through the surveillance video, they'll probably see one of them acting like they were shopping, looking around to see how they were going to plan it out. This is the reason why these ladies that work for this jewelry store, they should have had a plan as well. I always say it's better to have a plan than not, because when shit hits the fan, guess what? You wish you would have had.
They were all loading their guns.
Says one assaulted her sister who walked into all the chaos.
He grabbed her by her hair, pulled her up the stairs, and told her not to move or he was going to kill her. And while he had her face down to the floor, he yanked all of her personal jewelry off.
The 8 men wiping out the store that's been here for 24 years in a matter of 3 minutes.
Everything, they just sort of started putting it in backpacks and duffel bags.
Now, you might ask, what's the point of them wearing gloves? If they're undocumented, what's the point of them wearing gloves? Well, here's the thing. No prints, no case. Even if they are undocumented, you can't tie them to the scene. You cannot tie them to that scene. Besides for the cameras, you can't tie them to the scene. Now, they weren't wearing masks, which I don't get, because you have the cameras. Are y'all that stupid? Well, we know there's dumb criminals out there, but are y'all that stupid that you don't see the camera above you? Okay, cool, you don't leave any fingerprints, but you left your face. They got you on camera. How stupid are you? They don't need to match your fingerprints to any fingerprints on the jewelry cases. No, they have your face. They were organized while being stupid at the same time.
Surveillance footage shows that the robbers moved efficiently 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
From the first drawn firearm
They knew
to
what
the
they were
robbers'
doing.
exit from the premises.
They knew what they were doing.
The layout of the store.
See, they knew that how long it takes for the police to respond, or even if the police were on their way, how long it would take them to get there. 3 minutes. They carried this out like a movie. They went in there, knew exactly what they were doing, and then they got out of there in less than 3 minutes. The only mistake they made was leaving their face on camera.
Robbers specifically targeted anyone attempting to resist or interfere with their actions. These measures allowed the attackers to remove virtually all high-value merchandise in a short time. Throughout the robbery, the suspects maintained constant control over every aspect of the environment. Customers were kept on the floor, and employees were physically restrained,
And that's
adding to
crazy.
the total value of the theft. The attackers used their firearms both as a threat and as a tool to enforce obedience. Every movement of the suspects was coordinated, indicating prior planning and awareness of the store's layout.
Told
Their
y'all.
actions demonstrated a focus on both speed and control.
Now, here's the crazy part about this story that y'all probably didn't think about. It could have been an inside job. Think about that for a minute. It could have been an inside job. Let's say one of these gentlemen are dating one of the store clerks, right? And they come up with the plan to rob the place. They get the layout. They knew a lot more than the customer would know. They knew exactly where to go in the back. They knew what the panic button was. They knew a lot more. They knew where the back door was. They knew a lot more than a regular customer would know. So could this have been the inside job? Yes, it could have been. And I guarantee you, if it was, they're going to get to the bottom of it, because they usually do an extensive investigation into everyone's background that works there, including the robbers. And once you start to connect the dots, it's always going to equal 2 and 4.
The attackers exited together, demonstrating a coordinated and disciplined approach.
They knew where to go.
Police continue to search for the suspects, emphasizing the organized and deliberate nature of the crime.
That's exactly what it was. It might have been the inside job, because these guys knew exactly where to go, what to do. They even took the jury off of the clerks, the employees. They were not playing. They knew exactly what they were there for. They knew how long to be in that store. They knew where the panic button was. They knew where the back office was. They knew where everything was. They knew about the buzzer and all that. This was definitely planned out. And if we look further into the background of everyone involved, from the clerks to even the customers in the store, somebody is going to have ties to one of these guys. I promise you. I don't know if they've caught all of these guys yet. They probably haven't, because this just happened. But with all of their faces plastered on the news, these guys aren't going to have anywhere to run unless they run back to where they came from. Until next time.
If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.